Aloha. In Hawaii, it means both hello and goodbye. The following is a bittersweet love story about a painful goodbye and a beautifully sweet hello. It's about a little baby in heaven. It's about a mother and a father on earth. And it's about the woman who gave up everything. But in a way, it's someone else's story too. It's about the little girl, the beautiful little girl, who's changing lives every day, continuing her circle of life and of love.
One day, in the midst of my fun but lonely single life, I received a call from one of my younger sisters. She was going to school in Ohio, and she said, "Richard, how are you doing?" "Fine," I said. "Richard, I met your wife, and she's beautiful. Her name is Mahikulani Kaonohelani. She's tall. She has hair down to her waist, and she hula dances." "Okay," I said. "When can I meet her?" Mahikulani and I met just 10 days later and quickly fell in love. Within a year and a half, we were married in the most perfect Hawaiian ceremony. I will never forget that sunset.
God blessed me with a great guy that came into my life who literally swept me off my feet. And we had the same goals and aspirations that I had when I was a little girl, to have this big, happy family with a ton of cousins, and we can all grow up and be really close together. So after a year and a half of us dating, we got married. And of course, very eagerly couldn't wait until our child was born. After 4 years with the help of doctors and with many, many, many prayers, me and Richard got pregnant. And we were happier than life, because in the past 6 years, we had gotten pregnant, that we know for a fact, 3 other times. Those pregnancies didn't last very long. We knew this one was going to last. We could just feel it between us that God blessed us, and we were probably the happiest 2 people on earth for those 3 months. We walked into a doctor's office for our last visit before we could be taken off of the critical list or high-risk pregnancy list. And we walked in and they couldn't find a heartbeat. And they realized that the baby had just died. And we stood there and looked at each other, and the most numbing feeling came over me. And we went from being the happiest 2 people to being the most distant from God at a split second. And it was a very scary, empty feeling. We found out that our baby was going to be this little girl that I know now is in heaven watching over us. But it took me so back in my faith and in my religious life that for 3 months I really didn't pray, because I realized for the past 6 years I did so much praying and it got me nowhere. Well, to my amazement, right after I decided that I can't run away from God, He's everywhere, I can only rely on Him even more. For a couple of months there where I hated Him and where I was yelling at Him, was told by a good person that was still a relationship that I had going on between me and God. I didn't abandon our relationship. It was this relationship actually probably grew stronger because I could tell Him that I was mad at Him. For the first time in a couple of months, I actually prayed the Our Father during Mass. And I really, really prayed it. And I felt God's hands wrapped around me. At that point, we decided to go on with our adoption process that we had started a year before. But it was a really hard decision to actually come back to. I remember telling our adoption counselor, she asked how I felt, and I said, there's a lady out there, there's somebody out there that's pregnant right now with my baby. For me, that was a really good feeling. That was a feeling that kept me going through the process. We got this call. We could be the parents of this little girl that was supposed to be born in a month. And I remembered for the first time in a long time, I walked into Easter Mass just thinking, God, I need to thank you, first of all, that this little baby is going to be born. That this mother was going to choose to give life. And whether she decided to keep her little girl or let us care and love this little girl, or choose somebody else to raise this little baby, that I was just thankful that this little baby was being born. A week later, we got the phone call that our daughter was ours. And we could pick her up whenever we wanted her. And that was a blow your mind feeling, because here I had this miscarriage and I was expecting a daughter in June. And instead, God said, no, I'm going to give you a daughter even earlier. And at that point, I started looking at the name Lealoha, and I realized this was so appropriate for this little adopted baby girl, because Lealoha means circle of love. And if you look at a lei in the Hawaiian culture, it's made out of flowers that are strung together and given to somebody. Well, I just thought, the person growing the flowers that started this whole process of making a lei was God. He gave us the beautiful flowers and the beautiful trees around the world. And it was completely out of love. Then there was the person that nurtured it and watered the flowers. And then there was the person that actually made the lei, that strung them together. Not at one point will you ever look at a lei and see where the needle went through it, because it was done with such precision and such love to make sure that this flower looked whole and pure the entire time. And then every single lei is never made and kept for somebody, for themselves. Every single lei is given to somebody as a symbol of love and happiness. And I realized that's perfect for her, because God made her. And we have this birth mother who grew her and nurtured her with this love that was incredible. And then she was given to us by this family out of love to take care of her. So we named her Lealoha Ann. Me and my husband walked into the room and picked her up, this little tiny baby that could fit in our hands. It was instant. It was this love that nobody could take away at that point. You could not rip her from my arms. That day will be locked into my memory forever, because I was so scared of how to provide for her, what to do next, and how to change her diaper. We were in love with this little girl. And I knew that she was in love with us. And she wrapped her little hand around my pinky. It was breathtaking in every sense of the word. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk, I could just stare at her. I think I stared at her and just looked at her for about 3 hours.
Aloha, aloha, circle of life and of love. Aloha, aloha, welcome to this world tiny you are. I look down from heaven and I see His great plan, and I know why I am with God, and why it's you who holds their hand.
her birth mom or biological mother, but to her mother that gave her life. You truly are a mother because you chose the best thing for her. And I know it was hard. You made a very, very wise, great, tough decision and put yourself aside and gave this little girl the best option that you saw fit for her. And that's what a mom does. And I want to tell you thank you, because it completed me and it completed our marriage and made us a family, not just a husband and a wife. You're beautiful. You're beautiful in your heart. You're beautiful in your mind and your soul. The reason why I know that is because I look at her every single day and I see how beautiful she is. And that could only have come from one person, and that's you. With God's help and grace, she's here. But without your love and your beauty, she wouldn't be who she is today. And that amazes me. I think about you a lot. When she twirls her hair with her hand, I have no idea where that came from. And I think that could be you. Her voice that sounds only like her, I thought that might be you. She has your eyes and your nose. She has your hair and your lips and your ears. And she is the most beautiful thing on this earth. That means only one thing, that you're beautiful. And thank you for letting us be a part of that beauty and that love. Thank you for letting me hear that little girl call me mommy every day. Thank you for letting me see her walk. And thank you for hearing her first words and seeing her first tooth. And thank you for letting me hold her for the rest of her life. It's a gift that nobody else could have given me except you. And I owe you my life and all the gratitude in the whole entire world, because you're amazing. You're amazing to do that for me, someone you don't know. You've made me the happiest person on this earth for the rest of my life. Something I couldn't have done by myself. I just want to tell you thank you. And we'll see you in heaven.
Aloha, aloha, circle of life and of love. Aloha, aloha, welcome to this world, tiny one.
Okay, look at over there. You see those pink clouds? See the pink clouds? You like those colors? Yeah. What's your favorite color? It's pink. Yeah. I love it, Mommy.
Aloha, lay aloha. Can you hear the into this world I need.